welcome to Gwent Archives. When you first come to the archives, the first place that you'll go is into our research room. So just follow. So when you come to the research room, one of the first things you should do is to research register at our research room desk, and what they'll do is then help you with your research, and this is where we will bring out the original documents to you. As you can see, we have various cushions and book cradles around, and those will help you to handle the records that we have here. If you need any assistance or any guidance, the archivist and the archive assistant will be here to help you and to guide you through your research. And see, we have a number of ways you can access. We have computers here where you can access the parish records online, and we'll now take you to where we keep the records themselves. Yes, probably best. You're on Monday, we're convinced we were in a lift.
Yeah, well, I was. But, I mean, medieval things for 1300
so I don't know if you want to get a shot.
There goes some parish records there. There's even 1590s.
So this is one of our strong rooms. This is where we keep the original documents. We have a number of documents here. They range from volumes, they range from parchment. They range from 800 to 900 years old to something much more recent. We have 10 kilometres worth of records in all. And as you can see, this is just one of our strong rooms. We have another two, so we have 3 strong rooms in all. What's held on record? We have everything relating to parochial records, we have manorial records, we have education records, we have local government records, we have business records, records relating to canals, we have maps, we have ordnance survey maps, tithe maps, we have correspondence, we have diaries, we have photographs. Basically any sort of record, any topic that you can think of, we will probably have something here that will be relevant to you. I'm trying to think. I can't think of anything else.
Criminal records?
We have criminal records as well. We have the Usk jail records here, which do include some photographs. We have workhouse records. We also have mental health records. So we have the Penaval lunatic asylum records here as well.
How far back do the records go? When does it start?
The earliest record.
When does it start? I want to say 1100.
Yeah. Does it go back within the Conqueror?
Well,
we're not far away.
Records dating from the 12th century. They're generally title deeds, grants of particular areas of land. When it comes to parish records, which in theory can date from 1537, the earliest I think for this county we've got is about 1590, but most parish registers will be commencing around the 17th century, in terms of what survives. Obviously, map evidence, again, will often only date from, the 18th century in terms of detailed maps of estates. There haven't been enough signposts,
That is old, isn't it?
which be something a bit sort of out of control.
Plenty of sellotape on that one.
Yeah, it's probably an archive collection of millions of individual documents, which include official records of law courts, of workhouse records, of churches, of a variety of denominations, and also of privately deposited records, including those of the families of large landed estates, on which the mineral wealth of the county was utilised. Information on the impact of the Chartist Rising of 1839 is reflected in many of the documents held here, and the industrial landscape that shaped this movement can also be explored from contemporary maps and records of the industries themselves. The example that we have here is the register of St Wooler's Church burial register, which shows that on the 7th of November 10 men, names unknown, shot by a party of the 45th Regiment of Foot in a Chartist insurrection.
Right, and there's lots of like local folklore and events around 1838, 1839, which we can kind of flesh out there, especially with the internet and stuff, because obviously the community here has moved away.
I mean, that's the kind of thing, functions as a community group, isn't it, in its involvement. And
pictures. Okay, we're very lucky that...
In this register here for the Baptist Chapel records the expulsion of one of their members for being associated with the Chartist movement. A large number of members at a Thanksgiving meeting on account of the merciful interposition of divine providence with respect to the riots at Newport. The church decided to expel William Wise, for being too much implicated, in the Chartist movement itself.
All denominations were anti-Chartist, were they?
No, not at all. I mean, I'm not expert on it, but
was there a general rule? Was there a general rule where the established church were against them, but the non-conformists were for them, or whatever?
Once you had the Rising and its failure, then ministers in particular immediately turned on the Chartists, and all Chartists were labelled as violent, people of violence, and so that's where the split came. And many of their congregations were still remaining sympathetic to the cause, but couldn't openly say so, and so there are records of one or two elders being expelled by churches, by chapels, from the congregation. So it's a mixed bag, but the reality is that once Newport occurred, it altered the whole nature of Chartism in South Wales, and the non-conformists turned their backs on it officially. In this book, there's a section devoted to that, and it shows a picture of Chartists sitting in a church, not in South Wales, but elsewhere in the country. And they're shown, I'm afraid, misbehaving, one smoking, they're not listening to the sermon, one is asleep, one looks as though he might be inebriated. But then you have to look at a picture and say who produced it, how and why. And the answer is this is the product of an elite who are really, really quite disturbed and worried about the actions of Chartists, who are peacefully sitting in the pews, deliberately in front of a minister who was usually giving an anti-Chartist sermon. We're talking an Anglican vicar, as happened in Newport in 1839, when Henry Vincent led the Chartists into the Church of St. Paul's. And this is the first occasion, I think, when the Chartists used that tactic in Newport in April of 1839. So this is 6 months before the events at Newport that we've just been talking about. The movement has occurred in recent years to bring forward the stories of Chartism here in South Wales, which has been very strong in Newport and in the valleys of Gwent, and a movement that's been growing since 2007 at least. It's happened in previous times, but this is a sustained movement to try and get the story put together. So this book was a summation in 2011 of a lot of work that had been going on. It was focused at Shire Hall because that's where the trial of the Chartists took place in January 1840. And it's there that John Frost, Zephaniah Williams and William Jones were sentenced to death for high treason. It's there that we've got documentation of the trial of John Frost from that trial. And we've got the documents that Colin was talking about, which were found many years ago in Newport, which are now have been subsequently been digitised. So we're now at the first stage of bringing together lots of documents. This project really did help achieve that. The record office here, the archives, the Gwent archives, along with Newport Library, Newport Museum and Art Gallery, and Shire Hall, and looking at other agencies that have source material, put this work together. That's how it's become possible to go ahead. Now we're at a stage where digitising pictures, digitising documents from the time, these can be accessed by all sorts of people, not just academic historians. And as a result, as has been shown, there are a lot of stories buried in it, which are going to, I think, once we get it all together, and with this new project, will enable us to reinterpret the story. It doesn't mean we change the story, but we will revise it. This has been going on ever since 1839, the way the story's been told. And it's interesting what Colin said, that some of the evidence is there, buried in the documents, to show that whatever they were doing on the night of November the 3rd and 4th of 1839, they had changed plans, or somebody had changed plans. And that's what is a very interesting question. What was the role of John Frost? What was the role of Zephaniah Williams and William Jones in that planning? And I think that once we've got these documents sorted out more clearly, we will have some new ideas.